Good morning, students. Welcome to online classes. Students, today we are going to read chapter 1, that is Challenges of Nation Building, from the book Politics in India Since Independence. The book name is Politics in India Since Independence, and the first chapter is Challenges of Nation Building. So this chapter we are going to start today. Under this topic we are going to cover the following two topics. Number 1, challenges for the new nation. I repeat, challenges for the new nation, and the three challenges which our country India faced soon after the independence. So the second one is very important from examination point of view. Definitely it will be asked that what are the three challenges that India faced at the time of independence. As a citizen of India also, one should aware of these three challenges and how our country overcome these challenges. Students, the word challenge here means the problems. Here challenge means what? Problem. Challenge means what? Problem. So students, these two topics we are going to cover. So please listen to me carefully, watch this video carefully and listen the lecture so that it will be easy for you to learn and to write properly in the examination. So challenges for the new nation, our first topic. Students, at the hour of midnight, listen carefully, at the hour of midnight on 14th and 15th August 1947, India attained independence. Everybody knows this one. India attained independence on 14th and 15th midnight August 1947. Our country got independence. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister of Free India. He was the first Prime Minister of Free India. And soon after the independence, he addressed a special session. A special meeting was called, and Pandit Nehru addressed the session of the Constituent Assembly that night. A special meeting was called by the Constituent Assembly, and Pandit Nehru, the interim, Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister, he addressed the Constituent Assembly in that midnight. This was the famous Terrorist with Destiny, TYRST, Terrorist of Destiny speech. The year 1947 was a year of what? Precedented, I can say. The year 1947 was the year of precedented violence and trauma of displacement. That means at the time of independence, lot of violence was there, trauma was there, fear was there, displacement took place. Many people moved from India to Pakistan, from Pakistan to India they came, so displacement took place. In this situation, that independent India started its journey. In that situation, India started its independent journey to achieve its objectives. Many people criticized that India could not be succeeded in this journey, but India was succeeded. Now the three challenges which our country was facing soon after independence are as follows. Number 1, the first and the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was united. The first and the immediate challenge which our country India faced at the time of independence was to shape a nation that was united, yet accommodative of the diversity in our society. The second challenge was like this. The second challenge was to establish democracy in our country India. The second challenge was to establish a democratic form of government in our country India. And the third challenge was to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society, to ensure the development and the well-being of the entire society, and not only of some sections. I mean, development meant to all. Development should be enjoyed by all the people, not for a particular class or section of people in the society. So these are the three challenges. Now students, listen carefully. I will read the lesson and I will explain. So here it goes. At the hour of midnight on 14th and 15th August 1947, India attained independence. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, I can say he is the Prime Minister of interim government, first Prime Minister of India, of Free India, addressed a special session of Constituent Assembly that midnight. This was the famous Terrorist of Destiny or Terrorist with a Destiny speech that you are familiar with. Okay, in the midnight hours, like that, he started the speech. This was the moment Indians had been waiting for. I mean, all the Indians are waiting for this moment only, that how India will achieve independence, or they want to see India as independent country. You have read in our history textbooks that there were many voices in our national movement, but there were two goals almost everyone agreed upon. Okay, there are different views among the people, among leaders, among nationalist leaders or freedom fighters, but among all, two are the important goals on which everybody agreed upon. First one is that after independence we shall run our country through democratic government. Everybody agreed that we will establish a democratic form of government. And the second one is the government will be run for the good of all. Whatever government they will adopt, the democratic form of government, that should be good for all, particularly for the poor people and the socially disadvantaged groups. Okay. Now that the country was independent, the time had come to realize the promise of freedom. This was not going to be easy. I mean, establishing democracy was not easy. Why? Because nearly 200 years our country was a colonial country, was under foreign rule, and our country is having lot of diversity and a very huge country. So establishing democracy is very, very difficult in such situation. So this was not going to be easy. India was born in very difficult circumstances. I mean, when India got independence, or I can say India got independence on the basis of communal holocaust. I mean, there was communal problems were there between Hindu Muslims. So under such situation we got the independence. Perhaps no other country by then was born in a situation more difficult than that of India in 1947. Freedom came with the partition of the country. We got independence, but our country was partitioned between Bharat and Pakistan at that time. And it was partitioned on the basis of Lord Mountbatten Plan. The year 1947 was the year of unprecedented violence and trauma of displacement. People felt very bad. So far we all lived like brothers and sisters. We were lived unitedly. We fought unitedly with the common enemy British. Now soon after the independence we are partitioned and the displacement took place. So it was a trauma of displacement. It was in this situation the independent India started on its journey to achieve its several objectives. Yet the turmoil that accompanied independence did not make our leaders lose sight of the multiple challenges that faced the new nation. Okay students, now what are the three challenges that our country India faced? Now listen carefully. Broadly, independent India faced three important challenges, or three kinds of challenges. Broadly, the independent India faced three broad challenges, or mainly three challenges. The first and the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was united, yet accommodative of the diversity in our society. India was a land of large continental size and varied cultures and customs. Its people spoke different languages and followed different cultures and religions. At the time, it was widely believed that a country full of such kinds of diversity and diversity could not remain together for a long time. Many people criticized India that our country will not be united for a long time. The partition of the country appeared to prove everyone's worst fears. There were serious questions. There were serious questions about the future of India. People raised the voice. They questioned what is the future of our country, India. We got independence now. What to do? What form of government we have to adopt? How to solve the problems? Everything. Would India survive as a united country? That is the first question. Would it do so by emphasizing national unity? Okay, at the cost of every other objective? Would it mean rejecting all regional and sub-national identities? And there was an urgent question, that is, how was integration of the territory of India to be achieved? So these number of questions are there in front of India soon after the independence. Okay, now the second, another important challenge was to establish democracy in our country India as agreed by all the nationalist leaders during the time of freedom movement. So to establish a democratic form of government in our country India. You have already studied the Indian Constitution. We know that the Constitution granted fundamental rights and extended the right to vote to every citizen. India adopted representative form of democracy, okay, based on the parliamentary form of government. Democratic form of government with parliamentary system we adopted. These features ensure that the political competition would take place in a democratic framework. Okay, now a democratic constitution is necessary but not sufficient for establishing a democracy. The challenge was to develop democratic practices in accordance with the constitution. So it's a very big challenge for us, for the Indian leaders, how to establish democracy in such a vast and varied country in India, how to establish the democratic practices in our country India, because so far we are not having any experience of that one, because our country was a colonial country for a long period. Now the third important challenge was to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society and not only for some sections of the people. Here again the constitution clearly laid down the principle of equality and special protection to the socially disadvantaged groups and religious and cultural communities. The constitution also set out in the directive principles of state policy the welfare goals that democratic politics must achieve. The real challenge now was to evolve effective policies for economic development and eradication of poverty. So these are the three challenges that our country was facing at the time of independence, and fortunately India overcome all these challenges, and all the critics who criticized that whether India could survive for a long period, whether India could achieve unity for a long period, whether India could able to establish democracy, whether we are able to solve our problems which are facing immediately at that time. So everybody is spellbound and we could overcome all these challenges step by step, and still today our country was a unified country and we are having democracy in our country India. So this is the end of the video, students. We will come up with the next another video with different topics. Till then, take care.